Hello, Internet. Welcome to TCG Live. It's part 14. And I'm a little bit more awake than I have been these last couple of streams, which is nice. Still waiting for some people to get in, so we'll just give it a few minutes. But while I'm waiting for people to come in, if you are catching this on the replay, then and you've not been here before, consider subscribing to the channel. Hitting that like button as well helps immensely, like you wouldn't believe. So yeah, do all that jazzy stuff. Yeah, so part 13. Oh, do you know what? I've been so tired these last couple of days. It's really not been sticking in my head in terms of what we've actually been doing. But if I can recall, I think in the last stream we had actually gone into the evidence room. We actually managed to get access into there, and we did a little bit of clue hunting. We managed to do some fingerprint dabbing. We've managed to do a bit of luminol testing as well in there. We found some blood stains, and so it's looking more and more likely that our victim, detective, is it Paul Goodman? Brian Goodman? I can't remember his name. But Detective Goodman, looks like he died there and then somehow wound up being moidered again over at the prosecutor's car park. Not Moriarty, good evening, and Murgood, good evening to you both. Hope you're both doing well. Figured I might as well do it a little bit earlier today while I got a little bit more awareness about me. Because I don't know how long this one's going to be. But what I do know is we are still on episode 5, and we are on day 3 now. I think we're about to go into the trial, which is a very, very good place to start the stream. I'm kind of hoping that this will be the last part, because what I want to do is I do want to take a small break from the live streams, because there's a case that I want to cover. It's a bit of a shorter one that I kind of want to do because it ties into something else that I'm planning on doing, but I don't want to say too much now, because my main channel is less than, well, just over 1,000 subscribers away from 10,000. And what I kind of want to do is I want to wait until we've hit that milestone, and then I'll make the announcement then. Don't know, that could take a while. It may happen overnight. Who knows? This YouTube game is a funny game. So, I think, well, as you two are here, you know what? We're not going to wait for people. They can come in and catch up. So let's crack on, shall we? Let's crack on. I have my cup of tea. What are you lot drinking tonight? It's February 24, 9:41 AM, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. I will say I do have a collab in the works. Set off a recording today. I don't know when that's going to be out. It might not be for another month or so, but it's part of a bigger collab. A little project that the person in question has. I'm not going to say too much now, but I will let you guys know via the main channel once that goes live. It's very different to what I do. Very different indeed. So, Emma. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time, and a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. Oh, eating lunch, pork chop, green beans, potato wedges, and Pepsi! Yes! Tell you what, Fanta and a whole pack of Treeball mints. Sorry for the silence. This is going to be my community post for the evening. You've inspired me, Murgu. You've inspired me. In fact, can I even vote on my own polls? No, I can't. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to influence the. Let's just change that back. There we go. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to influence the voting. So we'll leave that. We'll leave that up for the night. There we go. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. Which is finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. Phrasing. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. What? A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't seek capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret. I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. Miss Skye. We found trace evidence of a certain person in the police department's evidence room. Oh, phrasing! They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? You don't want to know, Lana. Oh, bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. Exclamation mark. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. And what a fine and mighty trump card it is. It's the best trump card ever, let me tell you people. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Skye? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. Here we go. February 24, 10 AM. District Court, Courtroom number 9. They all look the same, don't they? It'd be quite cool if they had like little differences in the courtrooms. So like they were distinguishable from each other. That would be quite cool. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet, the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Wow. This is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today, yawning, I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what sets Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things. Phrasing again, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Oh boy. Things are getting wild from the get-go. They are indeed. Wait, I forgot Veekins was there. I forgot he was accused. Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Yes, sir. I am Officer Mike Veekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching my stream. Where have you all gone? So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again. Sir, you've got to believe me, sir. Actually, what we'd like to hear from you is... Sir, I'm doing what you would call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Eating. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Help me, sir. Officer Veekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir. As you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. I just realised my windows are wide open. People from outside can hear me. They must be thinking, what the f*** is going on? Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room.
I was only doing what I was trying to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Oh, I just saw the snot go back up his nose. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you?
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Vikings family motto, sir.
We'll have to double check that and see if that is actually the case. I see. Then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. That's a subtle hint to tell us to press more. I love that. It's called Crime Reports, sir.
Oh, that was not my normal duty. I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day.
Hold it. Mr. Vikins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Mate, you got to roll that tongue a lot, man. His accent. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the Chief of Detectives, sir. I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transfer process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir.
I see. Sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room. Tell us, what did you see when you got there? I thought Gumshoe made the budget. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's who he was referring to. That's who he's referring to, Mogu. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? Okay.
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir. It's 498-9596. That's my number, sir.
I see. Huh. But the number 4989596 is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir! That was when I spotted the man on the security screen.
Data added to the ID card record. We just need one name now, which is all sevens. So we need to figure out who that person was.
I was only doing what I was trying to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked.
Oh, JFC, you're working. Ah, that's lame. So you were attacked. Can you please... What time did you finish, ma'am? How many hours you got left? Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife.
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you. What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You weren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. I fought for my life. Then I did it.
Hold it. What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir.
Hey, Marina. Just stopping in. Oh, nice to see ya. Nice to see ya.
The man let his guard down for just an instant. So I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
Brilliant. I see. Hey, GB, good evening. He must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew,
Yes?
he punched me right in my face, sir. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
You need to tag V in this. If you've got Twitter, go on Twitter, tag him in this. Go on, get him in this stream. Let him see what I'm putting him through. I'm stuck in a raid and the stream didn't refresh. Oh man. Good evening, I'm Maverick. When you say you're stuck in raid, what do you mean by that? About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. Oh, right. Okay, Final Fantasy 14. Oh, sweet. I've never actually played a Final Fantasy game.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
I think my wife's played Final Fantasy now. I think she's owned a couple of those games. Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. I like Meekins, but the megaphone is annoying. It's supposed to be. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. Oh, nice one, Murgy. Yes, Officer Meekins.
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief? Delivered it? What is that? A videotape? What's that got? Oh, sweet. It's got, looks like kanji on the bottom.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Uh-oh. He's not going to be happy with this, Edgeworth. What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape. Murgy, maybe, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only good thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me.
A video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Do 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 do. Hey. Oh. Who dat? That must be Goodman. Oh, are you mad? Hey, look, there's Vikings. So this is supposed to be... Oh, no! Oh, he slashed him. No! I mean, I know he's fine. It's quite... Great placement there by the old Blue Badger. Now Officer Vikings is down. Okay. But then where's the victim? Look at Edgeworth. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How could we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly? Security video added to the court record. So, should we just have another look at that? I want to have another look at that. Sure, we can. Here we go. Oh, what? It hasn't got the music behind it. Lame. Right, I do want to have a look. So, we noticed the lights on already. So, why is that the case? That person comes along. As we go back, we see him open the door. Oh, the glove falls out. Okay. Ah, I wonder if the glove was keeping it open. That's interesting. Because we did find the glove. Slash his right hand. Okay. He used the right. Okay, he attacked with the right hand. I'm surprised Vikings didn't get any more injuries other than that slashed hand. Then he's on the floor, but then where is Goodman? Interesting. Okay, and then it goes and then just cycles back. Yes, well, anyway. This tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter, someone. In the evidence room, and some sort of, activity, Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Vikins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir.
Mystery Man.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that that other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
I think I've exposed a flaw with the glove. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. Well, that would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have had... The victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. Mystery Man. So his face can't be clearly seen in the video. Hold it. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with a knife?
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe I would be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not? More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir. But I didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking with them, you see.
Ah, our boy's got a bit of autism. Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I'll bet my badge on it. But there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir.
We're going to keep pressing. But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it. Or his Japanese and his politeness, maybe.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Vikins!
Eek!
Having been shown a questionable video at best, we're not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir.
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him.
I mean, he opened the locker which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do so.
About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried. If the man opened the locker's lock... Is that... Yeah, read that. If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to his registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir. And this too. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know?
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the open locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source. So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem with the security video? Well, I think if we go back to what I was saying earlier, I think we can ascertain that there was a problem with it. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing that in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Interesting. Your Honour, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. I propose we have the defence point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. You would want me to point it out. Well, yeah, you kind of put yourself in that position. Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape. Officer Meekins, please stop asking the court to give you cash. It's very impolite as a witness. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in this video. This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can't do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Saved it, Murgoot. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman? Jesus Christ, I thought the game just glitched then. It's there, right there. Look, see? It's right there. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Veekins.
Sir, do you mean me, sir?
As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. We cracked it, boys. We cracked it. Oh, hang on. Are you going to play through the whole thing? Le gasp! When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. This rewind button is slow. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit? Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. I love this game. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Come on, you know. Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like jam the system sensor? Something. Jam the sensor, say? There's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. And we know what it is. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked. Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this. I'm not fast forwarding it because I want you to suffer with me. You get over there. Go on, get over there. Go on. Off you go. The glove. Not bad, Moriarty. Boop. Take that. Please watch closely. This is the Please watch closely. This is the continuation. Oh my god, how can I not say continuation? This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh, go on, put the music back on, Phoenix. I don't know glove in Spanish, but I know the word the. There we go, here we go. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker.
What's that? It's been my experience that things fall out when doors are opened. I often fall out and roll great distances when I open my...
Uh-oh. We can't be sure that item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted... Phrasing! Between the sensor and the door. Inserted? Yes, Judge. Inserted. Your Honour, it is clear the locker system had been broken due to Officer Veekins jamming his unreasonably larger penis into the machine and broke it.
It was not me, Maverick Hunter. I was not putting my winkadoodle in there. I promise you. It was gumshoes I was putting it in.
This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie chokes me.
But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Dear God, Maverick. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. Ooh! Ooh.
What's that? My insulator? Do you mean?
I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that was stuck in the locker door? A rubber glovey. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. There were some brown stains on it which we have yet to ascertain what they were. Sorry. We can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Veekins?
Sir! It would appear so, sir.
Just want to wait for that little... Order! 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 So are we to believe, then, that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Vikins, please testify about this.
Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir.
L'Aguante is the glove. Nice one, not Moriarty.
Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke? Very well. Begin your testimony. I'm pretty sure in this series as well, we do meet a Canadian judge, and they do throw in like the old court is now in session, eh? History Man 2.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his card.
An ID card record, I see. Do you want me to spoiler it? No. No, thank you. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 514 is that of the victim. I think I remember what happens now, Maverick, to be fair. But I can't remember. I'm sure at one point there is a Canadian judge in one of the later games. But I could be wrong. Just before the crime. Yes, without a doubt this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination. I can't even really remember what he said. Excuse me. Right.
There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir.
So, unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as a stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'd even give the V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that? Let's hear him out fully. As we've seen, one never knows what he might say until the very last second.
To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card.
Oh, go back. Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards we established it was earlier?
Yes, sir. This card right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
What if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. Remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck when I get out of my car? Well, the remaining time, it's my ID card that gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me.
Oh, maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this. Please proceed with your testimony.
When an ID card is used, there's a record of it.
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to. Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman? What's the matter? According to this, Mr. Edgeworth, your name is on here. So it is, Your Honour. I do like Meekins. I think Hey, maybe he's behind all this. Being a prosecutor, he could hide the evidence.
Mummy, is that man in blue a murderer?
Shh! Don't stare at him. Oh, you've got the wrong colour, kid. I do like Vikins. I think he's very nice, besides when he uses the megaphone. It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today. I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card.
Earlier, I believe you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused. What? The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let's show him what we've got.
Hang on. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. Right. So, hang on a minute. Look at that. I wonder if it's the ticket stub. Maybe it's the ticket stub? Because bearing in mind, if you look at the time that he used it, and when did he first use it? Oh, 4:50. But then he used it at 5:14. That can't be right. It's got to be the ticket stub. It's got to be. No, it's not. Bollocks. Okay. Oh, the Sharpie Sharp. Right, okay. This evidence... No, it doesn't. But it does. Ah, right. That's got to be the point. Right, that's got to be the point of contention. So... Wait... I don't... Thinking... Found at the crime scene. Oh. A half-written document dated to 2/21 can only be submitted by the Chief of Police. I don't know. It's... Maybe it's the ID card itself. Oh, it is the ID card, okay. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. No. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. So why couldn't I have used... Right, hold on. So why couldn't I have used the ticket stub as a contradiction and say, look, how on earth could he have used it at 5:14 if he was in Edgeworth's car at 5:12? That's a valid contradiction. Your Honour, I have one more piece of evidence to present. Oh my god. Oh, hang on. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report. It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Ah! He lost his ID card. Of course, of course. Of course. He didn't write it out. But he was reporting it. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe there's something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order! Order! So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Vikins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Order! 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 Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Vikins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There were two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What's he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. He ain't wrong. That is... well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. Whew. This isn't going to end well. Tap, tap. Well, well. It seems you finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime. So? So the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot, at the prosecutor's office, the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! Kind of walked right into that one, didn't we, chap? I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in this evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Vikins encountered, and where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana. What do I do? Excuse me, how am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? Oh, excuse me. Well, I suppose we can object. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Oh, excuse me. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing, and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Okay. What did it show then? Okay. We push a button, but I don't want to. However, it cannot be said that this is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Pardon me. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. Is he on the back foot? This just might be my chance. Oh yeah, to get Jake Marshall. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Chuck Norris? Mr. Wright, do you mean? Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Oh, whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify. What is his or her name? Let's go with good old Jakey boy. Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edgeworth know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Yawning again. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you've figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana? You're the one who knows everything. Emma. You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Cowboy up, Marshal. Here we go, guys. I'm being subpoenaed in the court to give testimony. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. Sorry, Detective. You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky. That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked? Oh. You mean this, right? My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request. Oh, dear. My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy. The SL9 incident? But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them. I can't believe you, the Chief Prosecutor, were a witness in that case. Miss Sky was a witness? The SL9 incident files received from Lana Sky. Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Now that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me? Emma? Why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings. Hello, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about serial murder, Joe Dark, and the killings that he did in San Tokyo Andreas, land of Ace Attorney world. But before we begin, please like this video and share it with anybody you know, as well as hitting the subscribe button so you never miss out on a video. But also, turn on that notification bell, just to make sure. The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana. That's over with. No! Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gantz, Miles Edgeworth, not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. Let's have a look at these full files. Whew. Perpetrator, Joe Dark. Crime. Crime, serial murder. Excuse me. Sentence? Death. Oh my. Oh, hold on a minute. Excuse me. Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Is there a Jake Marshall connection there? Brother maybe? Father? Head Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Witnesses Lana Skye, Emma Skye. That's the Investigation Task Force. Executive Investigators David Gant, Lana Skye. Ugh. Head Investigator Bruce Goodman. Investigators Jake Marshall, Angel Starr. Hold on a minute. So if Neil Marshall and let's say Jake Marshall are related, then shouldn't Jake Marshall not be assigned to that case? Yeah, maybe. But then he shouldn't be assigned to the case. Surely there'd be a conflict of interest right there. I better take a good look at this file. Just have, Phoenix, way ahead of you. To be continued. Do 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 do. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere yet, chat. February 24, 12:14 PM, District Court, courtroom number 9. There's no Lana next to me now. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Emma didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. TCG, would you rather have 12k viewers per stream or 150k views per video? That is a good question. I would probably say... Oh, that is a good one. I mean, I'll tell you what, 150k views per video, and I'll tell you why. Having 12,000 people in my chat, whilst amazing as that would be, would make the chat just unreadable. Perhaps even on slow mode. So, yeah. Chip, you sound like you need a Pepsi or a cup of tea. I've just had a cuppa. Yawns are contagious. That's probably why, because I've had a cup of tea. It seems to have the opposite effect on me. It makes me sleepy. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Glug, 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 glug. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you. Wandering the trails of civilization. TCG, would you rather be abducted by aliens or be put aboard a UFO? It's got to be... I'd rather be on a UFO. I'd rather be put aboard a UFO. Because if I'm abducted by aliens, you know what they're going to do to me. Wandering the trails of civilization. Excuse me. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. Joe. Marshall. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. TCG, would you rather lose all your fingers or lose your wallet every time you have £1,000 in it? Altogether, including cash. I'd rather lose my wallet and just keep 999 quid in cash. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're all out ammo, it's time I hit the trail. What? What? I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't hear me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? Would you rather have 11 fingers or no? But I'd rather have 11 fingers. Ain't my belly button. He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. Room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. So he's lazy, yeah. TCG, would you rather have 200,000 pounds of bricks or 200,000 pounds of cloth? 200,000 pounds of bricks, because you build a house, let it out, profit. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say that I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bag works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon on the time it went down. No Ace Attorney or no warm food. It'll be no Ace Attorney. I love my warm food. I do love Ace Attorney, but I do love my warm food. No cold food again or no warm food again. But then I'd also say go cold food. Cold food over warm food. Yeah, he was at a dive bar getting drunk. What were you doing at a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongoli sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. Hang on, was he working security at the time when Epstein was, quote-unquote, unaliving himself? That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want to raise this year?" I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. TCG, no! Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. Rip TCG. Listen, I am of sound body and mind, and I do not have the urge to end myself. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it though, I'd better up the ante. Maybe I keep pressing? He can ride a bike but has a motorcycle? Oh, he can't ride a bike but has a motorcycle. Right. Do I keep pushing? So let's keep pressing and guessing. Sometimes as we've seen earlier, we can progress the story through pressing. Okay. Oh, I've got a full head of health again. Right. Okay. Okay. Right, so we don't keep pressing. I suppose this is the point where we, excuse me, present, I mean. Oh, crap. What was the piece of evidence that we had as the trump card? What was the trump card? Was it the ID card? No, I don't think it was the ID card. The SL9 docs, you reckon? Okay. Ah! Alright, not the SL9 files. Oh my god, what did he say was the evidence? I'm sure it was, was it the glove? Nope. Okay, okay, okay. Was it the tape? No, okay. We're butchering ourselves here. We're butchering ourselves. Let's go back. Let's go back. Oh my god, what was the trump card? He did mention a trump card. Ah, yeah. Yeah, it was the prince. Would be funny if the trump card is the ID card, yeah. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Huh. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Hey, Burnsy, good evening. Found at the scene of the crime. Oh yeah, not Moriarty. I heard about that. Have we heard any more about that? I know that there's some people on it. Apparently, there's supposed to be like some sort of mechanism that after I think 24 hours, it should just raise it back to the surface. Unless, like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. But how would he know that? The witness's explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Hey, Bilbo, good evening! Now's my chance to prove it. Right, we'll go through pressing. Normally gives us a big old hint where to pop that. If you haven't already, guys, there's a poll at the top. Utilize. And hit that like button. Come on, let's hit it. Let's smash it even. That's because well, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, definitely save it. Yeah, that's right. That one other thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated in the court record. Okay. Why were they bloody? That time of the month, Maverick. So then, what about the bloody fingerprints? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. I feel like we should be able to get the contradiction out of this. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chance of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward with me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other types of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they are totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How would he know that? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. Oh yeah, that's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and it's this. Security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, can't say otherwise. I do my job. I do my rounds once a month. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. How was my overtime today? I only did 1 hour today. Systems were playing up a little bit, but I managed to get it get the allocated amount done when I needed to be, when I needed to. So yeah, only 1 hour today. Nothing's been announced so far for this week. As to whether I would do some, I don't know. I kind of want to get on a little bit of the YouTube grind. I've taken a bit of break from the main channel so far for the majority of this month, and yeah, as I said at the beginning of the stream, there's a case that I found that I really want to cover, and it's only a short one, and it's an unsolved one. But yeah, too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? What is this overtime type job? You know, I can't say. I can't say. You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. Yeah. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. Here we go. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. Perhaps I'm a real crime type person. TCG is a forensics investigator. That's why I love these games so much. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you could show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Oh, TCG, what are you hiding? Show evidence. Yeah, no, that would work. That would work. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Yeah. Good thing we can time travel if it goes wrong. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Oh my. Oh my. I don't... Well, I've got to go. I'm about to rock and stone. Oh, good luck, mate. Good luck. Is that... Can I pin it on him? Hang on. Does Edgeworth come and go? No, he doesn't. He only goes in. Uh-oh. I think we might have a problem. I think we might have a problem. Huh. Yeah, I think we might have a problem. Hang on a minute. That's... Maybe if I just... Oh, okay. There. How's that for evidence? Please allow me to apologise for my colleague, Your Honour. He gets carried away sometimes. Yes, well, this certainly isn't a first. Will you forgive him too, Officer Marshall? He's not a bad man, just a bit disillusioned. Of course. I'm not the one to gun down unarmed boys. Oh, great. Now Edgeworth is defending me. Guess that means I missed the mark. Very well. Let's get back to the cross-examination. Right. There has to be something that pins him to this. Hold on. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicate a lamp lights up when it's open. Hold the phone. Right. Let's check that again. I think I might have cracked it. Yeah, I think I might have cracked it. Okay. Ejection. Camera's panning back and forth. Yeah. Right, tied up, bless you. Right, come on. I think I might have cracked it. Show the evidence. Right. So, we start off by panning over here, and we see there's a light. We pan back over here, and we see what we believe to be Detective Meekins coming through. We see... not Detective Meekins, Detective Goodman. He opens that. And here comes Veekins. And creeps up on Goodman, allegedly, and then bops and gets into a struggle. Then we pan back. And now he's on the floor. And I can't see it. Crap, there goes my theory out the window. Hold on. That? What's that? me go back. Was that there? No, it wasn't. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Bing! Come on. Come on. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? We can. Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. I was right, but for the wrong reason. I thought one of the lights were going to pop up. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Take your time, Phoenix. Where's it gone? Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Oh, hang on a minute. It suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. So hang on a minute. If I quickly go to the plans. Oh, it doesn't actually label them. Okay, fair enough. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Gotcha, bitch. Order, order. Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Uh-oh. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. Phrasing. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Because we got you, bitch. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Huh, oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it. Fingerprint and shocker. Right, just gotta do that. Just gotta do that. Just gotta do that. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say? In 8 words or less. Oh. Burn. Oh. I only got one word for you, partner. No! I love that animation. Order, order, order! Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now? A bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Veekins, sorry. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Huh?
Come on, come on, come on. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There. But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Veekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Veekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. Well, the answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Veekins would have realised the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence beyond proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Someone go get into Marshall's locker. Yeah, I know, right? Oh man, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone just told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Hey, Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise, but rather I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at a time of a crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it had been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Oh, it rained. Oh, does that mean you don't get to work, JFC? Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. Phrasing, JFC. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Oh, bless you, mate. Oh, we're back to the video again. Very well, let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Let's save it now. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Yeah, oh! Murgu, yes! Jesus flooded Christ. Yes, exactly. He does get it bloodstained, doesn't he? Oh. I love your pair of eyes, Murgu. do, 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 do. Oh, the music doesn't speed up. Right. Wait for it. Wait for it. Slash. Struggle, struggle. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Always wear your rubbish, JFC. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Veekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Veekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Oh, I can't do my Jordan Peterson impression.
Hey, you guys, you gotta clean your room, buckles. Hey, guys, you gotta clean your room, buckles. Yeah, there we go, guys. You gotta clean your room, buckles. Otherwise, you'll get a bloody white coat in there, guys. I'm sick of these bloody white coats. Just clean your room, bucko.
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Not bad at all. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Yes, JFC, definitely do, mate, definitely do. So lots of developments happening in this particular one. Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Oh, okay. I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID, just like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Veekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Oh, okay, that seems like a very short statement. He says that with a smirk on his face. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Veekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Right. I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. When you say it, you mean... You even have to ask, partner? The SO9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID card and dressed like him. I planned to sneak in and have a good old smoochy-loochie-moochy round. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera? And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, You managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove had just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Which he did. I wasn't expecting Officer Veekins. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Veekins and tried to drive him off. Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Veekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Veekins out, and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. Does this Officer Veekins have a dog by any chance? I don't think he does. So, you did your research beforehand? Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Veekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Veekins doing that time? What else? He was sleeping it like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Oh, hang on a sec. I'm just going to close my window, chat. Might be a second. Just got a little bit nippy out there all of a sudden. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Ooh. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, can I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offence. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? We know why, chat. We know why. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is that he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is his real reason. What I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. I know exactly why. Because we already had a look, didn't we, chap? I know why. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name, Marshall, is mentioned here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard her name. 2 years ago. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? You must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Well, he looks quite sinister, doesn't he? Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Veekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Oof. Seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. Ah. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it. Come on. Yeah, that's right. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. Sorry about that. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. He's getting all smug about it now. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realise that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Emma's back. Your Honour, wait! Emma, the defence has an objection, a scientific objection, right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honour? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honour, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please? I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing. The other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Yes? Excuse me. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry if I can't be more of use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honour. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Where is the other one? I don't know. Right. I object. Oh, God. This handprint left at the scene of the crime clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn out here? On there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use. The question is, which item, can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Man. I don't know. Oh, chat. What do we do? The blue badger? The blue badger! It's gotta be. What about that piece of plywood? The blue badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Nice. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The blue badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Oh. Well, what? Ah! That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma? On that afternoon, Officer Vikings was the one who brought the blue badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. What a word, balderdash. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honour, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. Oh, itchy back. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Vikins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. Who was 777? Yeah, exactly. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, this does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence to prove when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarise, the defence claims that prior to Officer Vikins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur, as Mr. Edgeworth said? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. Well, there's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, Will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to have entered it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh! The ID card record! Officer Veekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. I would drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope. I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. But it's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Veekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Well, that would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at that chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 77777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least, at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number, 777777, belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. Gant. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Let's see. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Well, let me ask a question. Yes? Not to you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. What I want to know is one thing. About that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief. Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Oof. Straight in there. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. All the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, that's what I'm talking about. No. No! Oh, that crowd is louder than normal. Order! 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 Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. There was a riot. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. And that is the perfect place to end the trial. Oh, there we go. Right, let's go back to the title screen so we get some music in the little background. I know, right? What a way to end it. With a courtroom riot. There we go, guys. So that concludes part 14 of Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright trilogy. And what an episode that one was. Just before we go, let's have a look at the poll and see how we did tonight. 10 votes, 60% are Coca-Cola fans, and 40% appear to be Pepsi fans. So Coca-Cola, it wins again. Wins again. There we are. Guys, thank you ever so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. As I say, probably be back on Wednesday night. I want to do some work tomorrow on a video that I'm going to research and script up. There is also something that I did, a little recording I did for another channel. No rush on that. It's going to be, might be a month or so before that's out. But I'm quite excited because it's very different to what I normally do. But I did lend my voice to it, and looking forward to that. So more details as that's announced. Plus, once we hit 10,000 subscribers. We're only just a little over 1,000 away from it now, over on the main channel. I'm going to be dropping a big announcement. So, thank you to everyone who stopped by tonight, from Not Moriarty, Murgoot, Burnsy, Bilbo, JFC, Mr. GB, Marina, and Maverick, of course. Who else do we have? Yeah, I think that's everybody. Yeah, a bit of a quiet one tonight, but a nice little focus group for this evening. So again, thank you ever so much for stopping by. We'll probably be back on Wednesday for part 15. And you never know, we may even get the trial concluded at this point. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, all that is left to say now is until next time, take care and goodbye. For now.